Hope everyone's blessed. We got rain coming in later today, getting back to normal with our county business. I appreciate that. Commissioner Ammons is out of town on county business. He will not be here. So I'll handle his agenda from the time. I think he would probably just begin from the back and go forward. That'd probably be the easy way to do it since Mr. Gales hasn't gone out yet. Let's begin our meeting with a word of prayer as we always do. And if County Manager Scott Market would lead it, I would appreciate it.
Dear Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you for loving us and forgiving us. And we just pray you bless us with wisdom and mercy towards the people that we are here to serve. Help us to respect each other and treat each other with love as we serve and glorify you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you. We'll go ahead and begin with District 5. District 5, we have no economic development items. Information technology. You have two items, Sharif?
Yes, good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
The first one is a Thompson Tractor IT Towers generator maintenance contract for all our IT Towers areas, doing a monthly and quarterly maintenance. And it's for $163,000, $500. And it's specifically for roughly around $34,450 per year per site contract. The second one is it's a Ahead Cross vCentral virtual maintenance for the VM migration for our data center servers. It's for about $54,000. It's a professional services agreement.
Mr. Trey, you said it's $34,000 a year.
Yes, sir.
You said, but the requested amount's $163. So where's the other 60?
This is for several sites. It's per each site cost. Yes, sir.
Jerry, what kind of motion? Move. Second. All in favor say aye. Aye. There's three items of community grants in District 5. Two of them are community grants, Prescott House and the West Debbie Hills Miracle League. And then there's an infrastructure grant for the West Debbie Hills Board of Education.
There's 1, 2, 3.
Got a motion second. All in favor say aye. Thank you very much. Commissioner Knight.
Let me get to mine. Start off with finance, Ms. Dixon.
Good morning, Commissioners. Item number 1 is our unusual demand report. Item number 2 is our procurement card statement for regions. Item 3, 4, and 5 are our normal purchasing agenda, purchasing exception, and encumbrance report. Item number 6 is a PACA partnership with Covington County Schools. Item 7 is a PACA partnership with Jackson County Board of Education. On number 8, we needed to update our contract so that we can pay SHI. They're the vendor. The requested amount actually should be 0, so if you can make that change. This contract was actually approved in October of 2021, but we needed to reflect SHI as the vendor for payment.
So the requested amount will be 0?
Yes.
Okay.
Item number 9 is our resolution for transfers. Let me get my notes. These are additional transfers needed for the year-end accounting, as well as a proposed funding of our county reserves as of September 30, 2021. Our preliminary unaudited numbers, we project an increase in an unassigned general fund balance of approximately $32 million. Actual revenue exceeded budget, so these are the transfers that will be needed to fund the reserve and to cover any overages in the road fund as far as deficit. We had already projected transfers, but this is additional transfer that's needed for accounting purposes.
Do I have a motion on 1 through 9?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Under Budget Management Office, we have our multiple staff development, individual staff development, and informational items. We also have a budget agenda item that relates to a system conversion that's needed in Board of Equalization. These are state-funded accounts, and the state has agreed to allow us to shift salaries to operating to cover that contract. And they have also committed to fund the additional remaining for next year. And Maria is here in the room if you have any detailed questions.
All right, do I have a motion?
Second.
Further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Board of Registrars, Barry, are you here? Are you online? Okay. We have a precinct location change, Mount Olive.
This is
Community
going-
Center.
Yeah, that's my district.
All right.
I can take that one and the other one off. Yeah, it's to the Mount Olive Community Center for this one thing for the June runoff. And
Where was it?
it was at the school.
Okay.
So what that amounts to is that you couldn't do, the community center is not large enough for a general election to really be done right because it's parking out. But for a runoff, I think it will suffice, and it was a conflict at the regular voting place. So that was good.
All right.
Sheila, you know,
Yes, on the, Holy Family Crystal Ray program is being moved from 6th Avenue Baptist Church for renovation and back to, Holy Family Crystal Ray, which was, Center Street Middle School. So it had been there before.
I move one and two.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Barry does a good job with all of this. We appreciate it. Developmental Services, first item, Z 210046. There'll be a late fee assessed to Mr. Solomon. He's already missed all the good stuff. Z 210046, second call.
Sorry, sir. So this is the application of Rochelle Parker Newman for her parents, Richard E. and O. M. Parker, to request a map amendment to rezone property from I-3 Industrial to A-1 Agricultural for a residential use. Property located at 5821 Newtown Road in the Mount Olive area. Site consists of approximately 15.76 acres. There was no opposition from surrounding property owners, and the planning and zoning commission recommended approval.
Do I have a motion?
Move the item.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Z 210050.
Yes, sir, this is the application of Arthur D. Graves for the property owners Arthur D. and Rosetta Graves. They're requesting a map amendment from C1 and C1, commercial and agriculture to the agricultural zone district to remove split zoning currently on the property for residential use. The site is located at 3960 Lacey Road in the Quinton area. It consists of 4.49 acres. There was no opposition from surrounding property owners, and the planning and zoning committee is recommending approval.
Do I have a motion?
Move the item.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Z 220001.
I just submitted some letters of opposition for that case. I hope you all received them. This is the application of Scott and Board for the property owner Parks and Sylvan Gardner. They're requesting a map amendment from A1 agricultural to R7 planning development for a 247 lot residential subdivision. Property is located at 3030 through 3275 Lindsay Loop Road and 3349 Linden Chapel Road in the investment area. Contains 197.4 acres. There were 4 letters of opposition, which you should currently have. The planning and zoning commission is recommending approval, but with 4 conditions. I won't read those in the record, so you have the language here in front of you. If you have any questions, I'll answer those questions for you at this time.
Jimmy, you want to address this?
Yeah, there's, that area has been agriculture and maybe Heather can shed some light onto it with the roads down that way and the flooding there on the road, the way you can get in and out of there. It's all kinds of problems with that I didn't hear anyone say anything, but,
So one of the conditions was well, actually 2 of them. One was a traffic study, one was a drainage study for the area. It's likely that additional infrastructure will be required, and then certainly that area does suffer from periodic flooding during storm events, and it can cause road closures, so it is a concern.
yeah, and
And you say infrastructure, what infrastructure are you
those
talking
country
about?
roads, but.
The number of homes being proposed by the development would likely require installation of auxiliary lanes. But the road also does inundate during heavy rain events, and because it's out there in the floodplain, it's difficult to abate that particular issue. So it can end up closed for periods of time.
This is down in, when the Dickey Springs Road floods, this is downstream from that. And it floods and there's no way to get in and out of it. And, you know, you're gonna put
247.
200 something houses in there, and then how you gonna get if you have an emergency, how you gonna get the fire truck in there on things like that? There's a lot of different problems that exist with this that really need to be worked through. We have a public hearing coming up. I'll approve it to the public hearing with the understanding that there's all kinds of issues with this.
Yeah.
That really need to be addressed. And I know the area is growing, but at the same time, you've got to be responsible and you got to be able to get in and out of your house.
All right, I have a motion to move it to the agenda.
I'll move it.
Have a second? A second. All in favor, please say aye. We'll address that at the public hearing. All right, Z 220002.
Yes, so this is the application for Peggy Horn for the property owners Terry Horn and Peggy Horn. They're requesting a map of who's on the property for 5 feet industrial and A1 agricultural to A1 agricultural to remove split zoning from the property for a residential use. Property is located at 8798 Lot 17 Road, investment area, and contains 2.85 acres. There was no opposition from surrounding property owners, and the planning and zoning committee recommended.
Do I have a motion?
Well, Adam. Are you moving into the agenda?
Yeah.
Okay.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right. B 220001.
We've already covered that.
No, we covered C. This is B on my agenda.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're right.
Yeah, this is a request for a new convenience store that's under construction at the corner of Rex Lake Road and Sigurd Hollow Road, or near that intersection, rather. This just requests to allow off-premise beer and wine sales, which is just common of convenience stores. This is a public hearing, as they will be establishing those sales. We did send notice out to all property owners within 500 feet of the facility on March the 2nd.
Do I have a motion?
Well, Adam.
And a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Jefferson County Board of Health, Household Hazardous Waste Day. Do we have a hazardous waste spokesperson?
Yes.
Yes, please. Tell us what this is.
This is our annual household hazardous waste collection event. We had it last year. Every year we bring it before you for
Ask a
approval.
question.
This year, it'll be April the 9th, and this is just our
Really good.
MOU.
Hi.
There we go. Where's it gonna be?
The different, I have a flyer with the different locations.
Okay.
While you do that, I have a question.
Uh-huh.
I happen to sit on the Board of Health, and we accepted a resolution from the city of Birmingham for this very same thing. But it was only $1,000. How come you're asking us for 40?
Well, this is a shared, the Department of Health helps facilitate it, and it's a 3-year, they had a 3-year contract with the particular vendor that properly disposes of these items. And so we're in our 3rd year with them, and typically we provide about this amount each year as a cost sharing amongst the municipalities.
So we're footing the bill.
No, we're all footing the bill. I have also,
Well, Birmingham's footing $1,000.
Yeah,
for
but
this event,
let me
For the hazardous waste stuff?
let me ask this question.
yeah, the event typically costs about upwards of $100,000 and is shared amongst
I understand.
municipalities.
All right, is Irondale participating?
Say that again?
Is Irondale participating?
Yes, Irondale is one of the sites.
You have all the
This is
individuals.
just a,
Oh, that would be
a
great. if
bill
you'd have
from
one
previously.
that are doing that, yeah. I just don't want to put the bill for everybody.
We cost share it amongst all of us.
Let me ask this question. How many, are we accurate in the fact that there are 31 cities in Jefferson County?
I believe it's 33.
Is it 33? I thought it was 35, but I've been hearing 30 to whatever. Can somebody give me something factual?
Yeah.
You don't know?
I
Head
thought it was
count.
33.
You the county manager, and you don't know, you need to know that. Okay, anybody can give me a
I have
confirmation?
14. in my-
Okay, well, what I'm saying is Birmingham represents one city in a county, and I would like to think that we would do our share just because of the fact that we do have more population. If you're talking about over 650,000 residents, Birmingham only has a little bit under 210, then you got an excess of 400,000 folk. So I'm just trying to figure out what's the discrepancy, why we have an issue with it, Mr. President, saying that we the leader.
Well, if you divide, and that's the problem, I had to ask a question.
Sure,
I didn't say that things were right or things were wrong,
sure.
but it appears that if a municipality has 200,000 people out of 600,
It's
that's a third of the population. And we're paying 40,000, they're paying 1,000.
Does
That's
this
the
in-
discrepancy that I see.
I get you. Are we gonna be doing any kind of work in unincorporated portions of Jefferson County too?
That's where,
This is hazardous waste where they
Yeah.
bring their paint and their.
I know that, but I'm asking, are we gonna be collecting in those unincorporated areas?
well, that's people come to the different.
You go to Bessemer, you go to
Yeah, you
different
go to
places in
Bessemer, they get a lot
Birmingham.
of.
You go to different places in Hoover from unincorporated. They're
Oh,
drop-off
you
places,
need
that's how they do
I'll
it.
make some copies.
Yeah, there's.
Yeah,
I ain't create a big controversy on that, it's
Yeah,
just,
it's
it
sounds.
just, I saw the discrepancy and thought that I would bring it to the commission's attention.
Well, I wasn't aware that or the amount that they.
$1,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll look into it. We'll see how much hazardous waste the city typically brings in and how much this typically brings in, and that'll probably affect the cost.
Do you happen to know?
Sounds like this is a lot bigger.
How much
Do you happen?
Well, we
Just
just,
approximately. you don't have to know.
we keep up with the number of, like, by addresses. And the unincorporated certainly is represented, but I don't have that amount right now, but I can get that to you. Because we do keep up with it ourselves.
Yes, that, yeah,
You want some more copies of that?
yeah, you should probably get these to the commission so that we can.
Yeah, well, hopefully she's gonna give it to Helen, so Helen can distribute it. You
Yeah,
guys?
she-
Yes, ma'am.
And that's on the April the 9th.
Yes.
Okay, that's pretty quick. I was needing
I
one of
move.
those the other day. Have a motion?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Jefferson County Soil Water Conservation Foundation grant agreement.
Yeah, this is our electronic recycling days. And we have several of them. And this is just to allow us to partner and pay the JCSWF Soil and Water Foundation to kind of facilitate that for us. And I have another flyer for that with just the dates and the different items that can be
Okay,
bought.
in the future, let's get these dates and times and stuff on our agenda so that we don't
Okay.
have to bug you so bad.
No, you're fine.
This
It
is-
is on the website, but I can get it to where it's on the agenda too.
All right, so. So two of these have already passed.
Yes. And then we'll have one coming on.
Got one in Bessemer.
You want you to prove it to you.
All right.
But Helen, you posted that, man. Helen posted it, because I posted on my Facebook.
All right, do I have a motion?
No, right.
A motion
I'll second.
and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, seems like we're doing this a little. All right, general services, Grace and construction, who's got that?
Good morning. General Services has
Good morning.
on the agenda. Hello. Grayson Construction LLC, this is an agreement for space relocation and improvements for the new compliance office that's going to be located on the third floor bridge of the Jefferson County Courthouse. And the second item is for Pool and Company Architects. They're going to provide professional services for the new compliance office that'll be relocated to the third floor.
I thought we were putting sewer billing on the third floor. Has that changed?
They're not going on the third floor of the bridge.
Okay, that's the last I heard.
So we're trying to find space for them elsewhere.
As we've been doing for what, 3 years? All right, do I have a motion on 1 and 2?
Move Adams. Second.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, I have a couple of items, community grant for Leadership Birmingham and a community grant for City of Kimberly.
We can. We'll do that. All right, so, and I'll second, I have one question though.
I have a motion and a second. Yes, ma'am.
Mhm. On your Leadership Birmingham, is that just something that we, can you kind of give me a little,
That was for the program itself, especially for the youth Leadership Birmingham.
okay, so I wasn't for sure if that was for adult or if that was
It was,
youth leadership.
we have it's all.
It's all in one file?
So, but it was designated.
Can I, Mr. County Attorney, am I allowed to be able to match what he's doing for that program? Or just put money to a period, huh?
We need to look and see what they're asking for if it's a grant, but we'll look into it. Let you
That's a
know.
community grant, right?
Yeah.
Joe?
Yeah.
Okay, so if we can look at that, I'd like to give to that program.
Okay.
Speak to it, I should at least give money to it. So then it go from 5 to 10.
Got that, man? All right. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. That is my report. Yes.
All right, Administrative and Infrastructure Committee, Roads and Transportation, you want to take that ahead?
Certainly. I have a few items on the agenda today.
Yeah.
So the first one is an intergovernmental agreement with the City of Birmingham for the construction of the Sydney Drive, roundabout improvements. The next is our Group 1 paving. The next agreement is a contract with Hydro Engineering for some design services on the Caldwell Mill Bridge project to meet our environmental commitments there for some expanded BMPs for the project. The next is a right-of-way use agreement with Crown Castle to allow them to install infrastructure within the right-of-way. And then we have multiple street maintenance agreements, acceptance of completed subdivisions, and then we have several toward item 15, item 13, 14, 15. Those are the ones that are failed. The rest of them were properly completed. So then we get down to, and 18 was a failed subdivision. 19 is a cooperative agreement with the city of Hoover for them to participate in our Group 1 paving to do their section of Old Rocky Ridge. 20, 21, 22, and 23 are right-of-way agreements. 24 is a contract with Arcadis for the RTOP program. The RTOP program is, we're working in conjunction with the state to coordinate our signals through an automated system. It's very exciting, actually, what the improvements that we'll be able to make with that. And then 25 is a design contract with GSA for the Carson Road project. 26 is a license agreement with the city of Hueytown for West Highland Park, and 27 is an agreement for paving of Millstead and Parkway Road with the city of Fairfield.
Where are these failed subdivisions? Vernon Glen, Morgan's Run, Sector 2, Shadow Rock, and Little Creek Estates.
So Vernon Glen is in the Center Point area. Morgan's Run is
Out by where they've proposed 200 and something houses are going.
it's in that vicinity. Shadow Rock is kind of out in that general area as well. So they're in various areas, and then we've got small maps, and then I also brought 2 sets of maps for the contract.
And the Little Creek Estates is where, did you say? I don't mean to put you on the spot, I'm just trying to...
I believe that's also...
I don't have any recollection.
Is this where some of our contractors gone in, started development, and
Yeah. So these were the remainders on the list. So we have one that we're currently working with a developer on, and that should be it.
That's all the failed subdivision?
That's it.
You mean this is it?
That's
There were
it.
93 of them.
Yeah.
Remember there were 93 back when we,
We've been knocking them out.
we've been taking them on.
Well, some of
They
them
ain't
we've
knocking them out,
actually,
they just piling on.
some of them we've actually been successful in working with subsequent developers and getting those resolved.
Are we, in going forward, are we getting a bond that's more adequate to cover in the event they...
So we've changed the process and actually required them to complete the infrastructure construction prior to signing the final plat. And that does a couple of things. It constructs the road to kind of the level it's designed to be. And that helps with drainage issues and long-term maintenance issues. And, you know, a properly constructed road is going to function under construction traffic. So it just allows us to get that finished so there's no question about it. And then they can continue on with their development.
I have a question too.
With the same developer, and I didn't...
Not necessarily. So once they do the infrastructure development to support that subdivision, and then we sign that final plat, then they can sell those lots however they need to. But then there's no condition for anybody to come back and perform additional work because it's all finished.
I'm sorry.
So items 2 and 25, are those like, Heather? So 2 and 25, would you consider that to be companion items?
Well, so the item 2 is that's resurfacing of Carson Road. So then there are multiple intersections and sections of that road that are going to need additional upgrading, and that's what the design contract is for. So we're building on top of the need to resurface that to improve at 79 Elfreth, Johnson. We have work going on at Indian Valley, Pine Hill, Black Creek. So there's multiple sections along that road where we're going to be widening, adding lanes, doing intersection improvements. That's what 25 is.
Is that gonna,
Stop it. So let me ask this question then, Heather. I know going in the opposite direction of Carson Road, which is the reason why I was looking very carefully where that was. So if you're on Marlin Springs Road, Carson Road, which used to be my old council district, but now commission. So there is a slither of road that is county. It hasn't been paved in a while. It's part Birmingham, and then the other part is county. Just a simple ask, I mean, outside of this, if you would kindly look on the other side of Carson Road, because I know that Carson Road extends going before Jeff State, past Jeff State, and going into some of these areas that I see noted here today. But if you don't mind, to look over there in that area. I mean, literally, it's just maybe about a 2 or 3 block area, but it's just county. And then what Birmingham does is pay this part, but the county needs to do this part. That makes sense.
Yes, ma'am.
so we're not gonna go pave Carson and then come back and add the lanes, are we?
In a couple of areas, because the pavement is degrading so badly that we really needed to get it surfaced, but we're not gonna end up losing a lot of what we're doing here.
And we put some turn lanes in.
Yeah.
We don't have any passing lanes.
I'm not.
Could we look at that?
Yes, yeah. And we're looking at several areas for turnouts or improvements to widen through several sections that are very narrow with no shoulders. So,
Right.
yeah, that's all a consideration, and that's what 25 will cover.
What's our timeline on this?
Well, probably about 12 months to get the design done. And then we would want to be out to construction this time next year.
But this is the Carson Road that's leading toward Fultondale, am I correct? All right.
Okay.
So we, I move that items 1 through 27.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, County Attorney, understand that you want to pull number 1 there, 1 and 3 are the same agreement, just different words.
I'll move 2 through 5.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Sheriff does have an item that he wanted to make everyone aware of, something that's coming up. Sheila. If you've been out to the range and you can see that they're out there in used and dilapidated trailers, the training barracks are, and the sheriff has asked that the barracks be replaced, that it will furnish additional revenue and help train deputies and police officers and help this become a regional training center. It's estimated to generate about $603,000 a year, of which the sheriff has agreed to give us $250,000 for debt service for the new facility. No action to be taken, but just to present this for consideration to for the body to look at, and this is something that we would be able to use, I believe, ARPA funds for it, as Justin in here.
I'm here, Commissioner, specific question about ARPA funds?
Yes. What I will do is Cal has a copy of this and ask you to dive a little deeper into it and see if that is an acceptable and approved use for that.
Okay, I'll take a look.
All right, and that would be good, and that would help them to have that regional training center out of there and allow our officers and our sheriffs to be trained. Some of the old units out there still have R-22 in them, and that's an old refrigerant that they don't replace anymore. And it's costing as much to keep that up as it is to renovate it and to rebuild.
Mr. President, seeing that this appears to be a vital item, is it perhaps that we can go ahead and tentatively approve it, subject to Widow O'Brien's approval of it, being that you've identified a funding source?
If indeed that's the case, this isn't a new item of business that's for consideration. This is just for the commission, and we can bring it back to the next agenda after everyone has an opportunity to look at it, and Widow O'Brien has a chance to look at it, and we get a little bit further into the sheriff's. They have detailed plans. This was just from our meeting that we went out there, 6 weeks ago, is that when it was? This is something that they have identified as a need moving forward, and something that we need to consider. So,
Well, this is nice, and this is good revenue protection. The only thing we're missing is how much does it cost to build these things?
And we will get that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like the strategy.
Yeah, I mean, it's public safety, and it seems to me as though you're dealing with an antiquated equipment on site,
Don't have any problems with that.
which is the reason why I thought that we could tentatively move it, but I understand.
Yeah, and it would be premature to do that without the complete plans and everything, present that, and to have it done through the county manager's office and general services and everything be led that way.
The most likely part, the category of it is revenue category. So we'll look at every possible option, but the lost revenue category of the ARPA funds is more lenient in how we spend it. Across the 10 million, that's probably what it'll be most likely.
Well, we'll let Widow O'Brien,
Let them look at it, and see what we've got.
yeah.
And it's something that we may want to put in our capital plan
Right.
and utilize this income that the sheriff has given to us to offset the debt service. So if the ARPA is not there, that would be another alternative. Just to identify that need and get it out there is important. So with that being said, I appreciate that and turn it over to you, Cal, for the county manager.
How many
I'm sorry.
How many units are we talking
I
about?
think there's 60 units is what they asked for on it.
All right.
On the offer program, Justin has 3 more applications. where y'all previously approved the food program. I do request that we pull the Kickstart one. I have some more questions I gotta get with Justin on, but probably have that back on the next agenda. Then you have the Mission Alabama and the Christian Service Mission.
Why is the Mission Alabama so low?
Based on what they asked for and what they're eligible for is how they determine the amount.
Yeah, and when you come back, see what the administrative fees for each of these would be too.
Justin, do you know the administrative fees? I'll get that for you.
Oh, I do, not off the top of my head, if you give me just a second, I can pull that information. I was looking at it not long ago, but it's been out.
I have a question too, while Justin is trying to acquire that information. I would be interested in knowing, and we mentioned this before as a commission, in terms of when these food programs are administered, how they're being administered in our districts. And I don't know if some of you all remember that, but that's what we asked. I would respectfully ask with this that we have a mapping of sort in terms of where these things are going to happen. It's interesting to me how we are viewed only as a vote, and then when it comes to this stuff being distributed, everyone seems to get the credit for it, but the commission who's financing it. I don't understand that. So if we can get an overlay of a map that provides when and where.
I could do that and either bring these groups in to make a quick presentation to you on how they're doing it, how they're controlling it, and that kind of thing. I think it'd be a great idea.
And another question would be, how are these groups chosen? I don't know that I've seen these before.
As you recall, when we approved the category for the food program, Will O'Brien and Justin set up the program through the federal guidelines, and it's open to anybody that wants to apply if they meet the guidelines and all the criteria. Then it comes back up here, so we can. That's how it works.
Yeah, Commissioner, there was a list of things that were required for entities to have before they applied to food guide-star certification. The food program was kind of a quickie program where we appropriated enough money for the first round to do it on a first-come, first-served basis for the remainder of this fiscal year. We've filtered out some organizations that did not meet those requirements. The organizations that did meet the minimum requirements were eligible for awards. Those requirements were set out to the commission. I can pull those back up. The maximum award amount was 10% of an organization's prior revenue for the previous year. And the administrative cost, I was trying to find that, but I think I remember what it was. I believe it was no more than 10% of the entire award could go toward administrative costs, and those have to be documented as well. You just don't get it. In fact, some organizations are not claiming administrative costs, and also some organizations' costs are going 100% toward the procurement of and distribution of food.
Justin, do we have a timeline when this has to be done by? Is that the same as the others?
These contracts for this round are through the end of this fiscal year. The applications for these closed some time ago. That are in front of you today are ones that just took a little bit longer to get the contracts put together for. But the application for this fiscal year, for this particular program, closed some time ago. We did not use all of the allocated funds for this. We could allocate some additional funds to these contracts if they run out of funds, or use it for a future fiscal year, or reallocate it towards another program if we need to. But this particular program here that you're seeing the contracts for, that That has been closed, and we're on to the administrative phase of that, past the application for work days. We did allocate in the last round of budget some additional money for food insecurity to be able to continue these programs on for the remainder of the ARPA eligibility period, which, as you know, goes through the end of December 2024 to encumber funds with expenditure deadline of December 2026.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. So, do we have a motion?
Is this, one more second, with one more question. Are these like food banks, Justin, or are they drive-through programs, or do you know?
It's a mixture, Commissioner. So the contracts between the last couple meetings of this one that we've seen, some of them are like food box programs. Some of them are food banks, like the Community Food Bank of Central Alabama. They were the largest applicant. So you've got the Community Food Bank, you've got Christian Service Mission, Mission Alabama. Both the Firehouse and the Jimmy Hill Mission were successful applicants for the provision of food for people that they serve. And then you've got another unique one was Jones Valley Teaching Farm that actually grows food and distributes fresh produce for people who have healthy, fresh produce.
Okay. All right, thank you.
So, county attorney, excuse me, county manager. Would you consider if we bring all these organizations here and so that they can be able to formally present to the commission what it is that they're doing, where they're doing it, and the timing of it and so forth?
Sure, definitely ask them that, get some maps prepared, get them to come up here. And give us
Like I'm
all-
saying that if you would consider maybe withdrawing those items until they can come and make a formal presentation.
Well, as Justin mentioned, you've already approved several groups, and you approved us to set up a program so people would gone to work with the program, and now we're telling them, hold on, I guess we could, but.
Oh, we're pulling one anyway.
Huh?
I said we pulled one.
Yeah, you might need to pull another one. I'm being very diplomatic outside of you to say I'd be interested in knowing what folks are doing with what they receive, especially if your administration has already had encounters of the same type of program and it didn't necessarily work out the way it was intended.
Okay.
And I'm open to whatever the desire of the commission is, and then I can just vote accordingly. But I'm I'd hope that because we still have various needs that these funds can be used for. I really hope we get to the point of where we're doing some self-sustaining programming that we know is just going to get out of crisis mode and we start looking at recovery mode, so that we can do that. But before, that was what I noticed, is that we didn't have a clue where any of this was going in our district. All we knew is that I don't know if some folk are working with some more than others. I don't know, but I do know it would be a courtesy if we all could know what's happening.
Okay. We'll do our best to do that at the next committee meeting, if that's your pleasure.
Yeah,
And
I'm
y'all-
asking if
y'all-
we would do it.
Y'all want to do a food program, it's your vote, I think.
No, I don't think it's not that we don't want to do it. So I want the narrative, let me be clear. So I'm articulate. I want to say what I'm saying. I'm saying that we value our constituents to the degree we want it to go to our constituents. But it's unfair to us as a commission if we vote for something you vote for a program, and then it just shows up in your district. You don't even know where it is in the district. You don't know when the food is being distributed. You don't know nothing other than you've just funded it. I think we're better than that. I think we're more engaged in that. So that has nothing to do with you. I think on the front end, that has to be an ask of the commission that if we're going to fund your programs on behalf of our constituents, please provide us the who, what, when, and where that you're going to do these things. And that's for accountability too.
But, there isn't an email sent out on the location. I know Community Food Bank and Helen posted on the county, website. And I know it's one sent to my office.
Justin, do they provide a map of the locations?
We have different information from different entities. You know, they're not really blending their operations. They proposed what they were going to do, and we looked at the scope of the eligible work. And as you recall, this was a program that we tried to get out expeditiously. I can get additional data in terms of distribution points or how each organization is doing it, and I would have to compile a report from the various contracts. And I don't have a single document that I can provide.
If we can get it standardized, Justin, now that, no one's going hungry, right? Well, we do have, well, someone's going to always go hungry. Okay. What we need to do on these three remaining, that's, now that we have an opportunity, let's look at the policy and procedures that we use to engage, and make sure that we standardize these through everyone that's distributing food. So we know that who, what, when, and where, and that each of these distributors are accountable in the same fashion, so that everything is done according to our standards, not the particular standards of each individual recipient.
I wouldn't mind them coming in and let us ask questions.
That's right.
No problem with that. I mean, I get your policy and procedure, that's fine. I mean, we've got that, I think.
So if stuff is sent, if the time and location is sent to the county, and it's put on the county website, and how much is our responsibility to look and follow and see what's there for our, to serve our constituents? Now, what that is it Three Hots and a Cot? What's the name of that organization? Am I saying it right?
There is one.
Yes.
3 Hots and a Cot.
Right, and I look on their website and the information that I get from Helen, and I distribute it out in my community because it's a need. I look on United Ways, Salvation Army. I look on their website and I distribute it out in my community and on my social media because it's a need.
You distribute what?
The information that they give us on the locations of where they're going to be at, giving food, clothing, and other programs. So when is it our responsibility to make sure that we put the information in our district where the need is? And even when, because they're sending it to Helen, Helen is posting it on social media. I always pull what she posts, I repost it, then I put it on other social media programs that can reach my community. And I also take it to other agencies, like the shelter, to the rec centers, and post it there.
Let me ask this question. So, Helen, you say you are sending it, because I don't think nobody can beat me faster than responding to emails. I check the email all the time because it's on my phone. So, are you sending out something to us as commissioners?
Anytime that we've had a JIT call where there's information and reported and everything, yes, I send that to all commissioners. So I'm not sending one thing over that, and at one point, I can go back to this during kind of the height, what I would call the height of the pandemic. We did do a GIS map with IT, and we had feeding locations that were on that map as we got that information. It was challenging to try to keep up with at that time because it was happening very quickly. But we did work with IT to do that feeding map. So I think there's a possibility that if we get that information, we can do that.
Well, what I'm asking is because I think all of us are responsible, but I can't speak for anyone but myself, that I'm very responsive to any information, and you know that, based on when you send it. What I am asking, so I'm clear, is that any organization that we, as a commission, chooses to fund, it would only be courteous, being that we are the elected body on behalf of our constituents. If you're going to ABC Place, we just should know. And maybe perhaps we can even assist with making sure that that organization may partner with another organization. I'll give you a prime example. Yesterday, which I'm going to share with Joe, I was over at Jeff State. Jeff State now has a program where they have a food pantry. Are you aware of that? So they have a food pantry, and they were telling me about some other things that they have that's going on there. My point is, but you may be this organization, because they don't really know the district, all they know is they have money, right? I would think that we should be connected enough to our districts where we know where the needs are. And so if I had rather than you just going to ABC Place that may not have a connection, but they just got the money, why don't you connect with Jeff State that has a feeding program? I'm not talking to you per se, as much as I'm saying to Cal and Walter and everybody that's in your office, that what needs to happen is that we just need to have a partnership, a for real partnership. Because when they get through handing out and some folk make it appear as though they're the one that's doing it, this commission gets no credit whatsoever in terms of what's been done. And I don't think that that's right. And at the end of the day, I don't think that there will be any commissioner that believes that any organization should be superlative to the body that funds it. That's all I'm saying. And I'm very articulate when I say we just need to have wherever they're going before they go, and we need to have a consensus in terms of, does that work for your area? To some folks, this is a business. Hopefully to the commissioners, it's a part of our desire to preserve food needs in our districts.
Be a part of our public service. I think what we talked about is if we can establish those policies and procedures moving forward that will apply to everyone, not just these three. If we pull these through and reinstate, are you okay with that?
Yeah, I was gonna say, we could resend you all the criteria that you approved to set up the food program.
And
we'll ask them to come up here and make a presentation, and we'll make sure they get maps of their sites.
And Cal, there's nothing against these people at all. It's just, I think that if we standardize our procedure.
Well, it is standardized.
Well, and we may need to add a little more.
The commissioners, there's something that I feel is important to add here. The way this program is set up, so these are federal funds, and there are certain requirements on using federal funds, which in this case required us to use a consistent set of application procedures and award procedures for everybody there. This was set up to where these entities are not vendors on our behalf. They are not providing a service to us within a program where we are directing how the aid is done. There was a wide variety of eligible calls for these, to where they have a certain degree of latitude to provide services based on what their organization's expertise is within those eligible calls. They are sub-recipients, they are not vendors. This is not a program where we are directing them how and where to spend their money. This is where they are subrecipients, and they can spend that money as they see fit within the eligible constraints of what the federal government allows, and within the program design that we allow them to apply for. There's a difference between somebody who's serving you as a vendor and somebody who's received an award as a subrecipient.
So we're just giving them a grant and they're distributing that to whomever and whenever
No,
they
not
want.
necessarily. They're going by the
That's
census.
just what he said.
Within what is eligible, within what is eligible, they can, like I said to Commissioner Knight a little bit ago, these are not all the same types of organizations. You have a couple homeless shelters, you have a farm, you have people, you have a food bank. There's various methods of delivery here that we're dealing with. They're not all the same. Every organization does not have the same skill set and provide the same types of services, but it all goes toward the same mission of addressing food insecurity.
And they look at the census tract also. You know, the census track the homeless community. So they know whether you're homeless without a shelter over your head, or you're just lacking food, or you're lacking utilities. That's how they go advertise and they go seek the people who need their program. So if your community is really, if your district and your community is not at need, I can understand you really not knowing where it's at. But that's how they go. They look at it. All of their grants are written off of the census tract and the need. They go from 3 Hot Center Cart, the United Way, Salvation Army, all of them. If you go and look at all of them, they all follow the same guidelines because it's federal guidelines, and that's what they have to go by.
Justin, you said these are sub-recipients. Are they, if they do not properly do what they're supposed to do, are we not liable in the event of an audit?
We are, that's why they are all undergoing risk assessments and monitoring in accordance with federal requirements.
And therefore, that just reiterates my request to at least have these people come in and let's able to see who they are and talk to them.
Yeah, and I think you can see, what their plan is, and they'll work with us.
Okay.
If you got a need somewhere, they don't need to.
Yeah, I'm not against it, just like, hey, we'd like to know who we're dealing with and what their plan is and where the food's going.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the table. Y'all want?
But what is the motion?
The motion was to approve 2 and 3. Do we want
Well, I have a subsequent motion, Mr. President.
to, okay, we need to, do you want to do that or amend? You want to let?
I
let
withdraw my
yourself-
motion and go to the floor.
All right, the motion has been withdrawn. I don't remember who
I
had
had a
the second.
subsequent motion.
Okay, I don't know who had the second. The second needs to be withdrawn.
I don't know the
I have the
Fine,
second.
second, okay.
Mine is not going to.
Okay.
So, Mr. President,
Subsequent motion.
right, and I make a motion then that these items be brought back before us at a time in which they are, all the organizations give a full presentation of what they are offering the county residents for the services that we are seeking to support.
And the county's policies and procedures are implemented to each and every
Organization.
So,
Right.
let me get a full understanding. So we're going to get ready to pull this off of the agenda. These programs that will be feeding hungry senior citizens for our lack of understanding.
I don't see where it says senior citizens.
It's on there because you probably ain't looked into it and seen in your district whether you got senior citizens hungry or not.
I don't believe anyone's going to go hungry for this. Don't we?
Well, how do you know? How do you know
Programs
that?
going on.
How
I
do you
second
know?
the motion.
All right, we have a motion and we have a second. All right, now I want to give Commissioner Tyson the opportunity to understand and see where we
I
are.
fully understand, and I see you.
So, what we need is just, are the citizens being served now?
No.
The previous groups you approved are.
Everyone, so, and these have not been approved yet.
Right,
So they're not in our feeding program as of right now.
right.
Okay. So this would add to what we're doing. How many people are, questions are real, okay? How many people are we serving now? Okay? And in what areas, in what days of the week, and how we're getting that done. When we find that, we look, and is this an addition to what we're doing, or is this fulfilling an area that we don't have? So, do you have any of those answers?
I don't.
Commissioner, this was all the start of the program, so we are still trying to start this. There was an open application period, and awards were made, or notices of award were made, based on who was eligible there. And we're trying to get those contracts in front of you. This is what we've been working on for the last month and a half or so. These were just a little late comment, but they're all part of the same program that we already opened and closed. We're just trying to get this administratively done. So they were already sent to you with a list, and the list of organizations that were to be awarded, I believe, along with program requirements. So these are in addition to what we did. These are the same ones. We're just trying to get the contracts done. This is the same ones we've been working on since late January, early February.
Tony, did you say we have a motion on the floor and it's been moved and seconded?
But I want to try to reach consensus if we can. To understand, again, are we going to pull these and bring them back in 2 weeks?
I believe that's the motion, and as well, we'll bring the other groups who've been approved
And let everyone come in, so the commission will understand and know. And I would appreciate it if we would get something in writing preceding.
We'll resend our criteria that's been sent out, get that back to you, and what we've got so far.
Okay, that'd be great. All right, we have a motion, so all in favor say aye.
Aye. And I deny. No,
Okay.
for me.
Okay, 3-1. I believe that. I believe that winds it up, doesn't it? Do you have anything?
Did you mind and did you-
No, do you have anything else? Mine.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay.
You have nothing for county attorney, you have anything for?
Did not.
Okay, Commissioner Tyson, it's your turn.
Community Development and Human Resource Services, Dr. Hamilton.
Good morning, Commissioners. We have 7 items this morning. The first one is a resolution authorizing the closeout of the Alabama Mitigation Branch HMGP program. This is some funding that they gave us in conjunction with the CDBG DR funds for the North Smithfield Community Safe Room. I do need a pen and ink. That should be North Smithfield Community Safe Room as opposed to Concord. The second item is a resolution for the Jefferson County to apply for the United States Health and Human Services Department on behalf of UAB for a recovery support service grant. They would be requesting $375,000. Number 3 is a resolution authorizing to formally authorize the county to accept from the Alabama Finance Authority voluntary reallocation funds in the amount of $3.4 million. But I did want to point out that I found out just this morning that they are willing to increase that amount to $5 million. So if we could change that amount, we wouldn't have to bring it back. But that would be specifically for Jefferson County.
And this is ERAP 1?
ERAP 1, correct.
And what was the total amount in ERAP 1?
The total amount in ERAP 1 was $13,502,418.
And it will go to 18 million.
That's correct.
So is and 10 of that has been spent, as I understand?
On program, yes, sir.
You said 13 million what?
502,418.
And this is basically the county applying to the state because
Correct.
the state has access. I think
That's-
we established that a couple of weeks
That's
ago.
correct.
And we're asking for more in addition to the 13.
That's correct.
All right. And will there be any transfers to another municipality?
No, sir.
Okay.
Just so you know, the city applied, I just found out this morning, the city applied, they're going to receive about $5 million, and they've also going to receive some additional funds for treasury. So that's their money, and this will all be ours.
Everything worked out.
Yes, sir.
Now, what about ERAP 2?
But we're about to get that one started.
Okay.
Yes,
All
sir.
right, so I moved 1, 2, 3.
Hold on, was he finished?
And I still have a few more, but
Yeah,
Oh.
well, why don't we let him finish it all? I mean, we may just be approving items 1 through 7.
yeah.
Well, I may object to 4, 5.
Well, that's why I was saying.
So the,
I withdraw my motion.
I know what I'm looking at.
okay, so for number 4, I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay. For number 4, our workforce development program received from the Department of Education, Alabama Workforce Stabilization Grant in the amount of $557,137. This will allow employers to upgrade their employee skills. And basically, number 4, 5, 6, and 7 are the 2-year schools that will provide that training.
I move 1 through 7.
Second?
Question, second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye. Madam Chair, if, Helen, I know this is something that we do all the time, but I'll be honest with you, items 4 through 7, it would be nice, Cal, I can't give her a directive, but if we do some kind of news release or something that just lets folks know that those workforce development dollars are out there. I think that would be great. We gotta get some people, try to help to work.
Commissioner Tyson, I move 1 through 3 of your other business of your community grant.
Seconds.
And participating in number 3.
Oh, yes, you are. For 5,000. Can I get a second?
Yeah, I was gonna second what you said.
Can I get a second?
I get a second.
It's been first and second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That's the end of my.
Good.
So we have, excuse me, we have 7 items as relates to the Public Works, Community Services, and Intergovernmental Relations Committee. Cal, do you want to speak to any of these? David, I'm sorry, David? Any particular, any questions from the commission?
I'll move 1 through 7.
All right, so no questions for you, David. So items 1 through 7 have been moved. Is there a second?
Okay.
All right, it's been moved and properly seconded. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
There's an appointment, we had Mr. Fletcher, Marvin Fletcher passed. Farsdale Fire District, Jerome McKinstry has served on this board previously and did an amazing job and was asked to be placed back on there in the absence or death, rather, of Marvin Fletcher. Number 2, Holiday Hills, I did have a pink pen and ink amendment. If you look in the back of it, it is for $200,000. And respectfully, I've asked the county manager to work within a budget of $150,000. It is now our park, and so those are the 2 items. So I just wanted to make sure that we understood what was being asked of items 1 and 2.
I move 1 and 2. Second.
All right, it's been moved and properly seconded. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Mr. President, I do have one item of new business. If-
Motion to adjourn.
I know, right? After I finish that item. It is going through the system, Mr. President. We had, for 16th Street Baptist Church, we had, there was a project that we had supported. Mr. President, we won't have a quorum if you walk out.
I'm not going to.
All right, so, but anyway, this will complete that particular project. And so I'd like to move for unanimous consent so that we can bring this item forward where we are to bring everything full circle. There's an additional ask of $50,000 from 16th Street Baptist Church.
Didn't we do one the 16th before?
We did, that's what I was saying.
Okay.
But they needed a final amount to complete this project, and so we were willing to provide the additional funds to support it. Did you have any questions, Jay? So I needed to move for unanimous consent.
Move for consent.
Second.
All right, has been moved, and do we need to do anything further, Mr. County Attorney? All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. And so moved item. Thank you. All right, it's been moved and properly seconded. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you all for your support.
Good thing
Thank
Steve
you.
ain't here.
Before we
I don't
adjourn,
do it that often. Thank you.
the Commissioner Knight's Leadership Birmingham, Commissioner Ammons has informed me he would like to add $5,000 to that also.
That's good. That's good.
So for the Leadership Birmingham, so if you'll, maybe if you'll put that pen and ink in there, that include that in Thursday's agenda, I would appreciate that. Anything else that's come forward, Rob? We're adjourned.